So I got this drug in here a couple of days ago, and tried to start it. All the plug wires are good and on there in the right order and everything, but I couldn't get it to turn over worth a damn. Really horrible. I thought maybe it was way out of time or something, but it's not. I don't think. I got it to flash off once with a little bit of hot sauce and some Cosby in a can, but I started thinking maybe the starter was weak. I pulled it out. Sure enough, it barely wants to spin sitting here on the bench. So a few years ago I found out about these new little Bosch ones for the Chevys, and boy, they sure spin a small block Chevy over nice. So I don't have to force a big pile of junk like that back in there when I can put one of these nice little cute ones. So we'll climb under there and see where if we can get her back in and see what happens. There we go. A lot easier to get back up in there. Lined right up. There's a good chance to have a look underneath the floorboards and that. That's the rear floor pan there. And this is the driver's or the passenger side. There's a little wee hole there. A little bit. But it needs a little bit of hammering, and that's a bit caved in there. So we'll pound that back out and weld a little patch over that guy. The rest of it, just incredible. There's a little bit of rust over on the driver's side there, but yeah, no huge holes or anything. I need a little patch there in the back. Still sound as a rock. Everything looks really good, considering that it's over 50 years old. Alright, well, we'll see how that little starter works, I guess. Figure out if it'll run or not. Pause. Okay, let's try it again. There's another little shot of gas in there. Yeah, I guess it needs more gas than that. Okay, well, I guess I don't need it that far up in the air anymore. That's what we'll do. Over there. Drop her down a little bit. Right about there somewhere. Yeah. Alright, well, the charger was telling me that this battery is right up to snuff. So we'll see. I got any more? No. There we go. Need a little shot of yeehaw down the hoo-ha here. Oh shit, I'm dribbling all over the place. Let's see what goes on here. A little shot of happy gas. Let's see if she lights up. Well, that's a definite yes. It does so. Okay, well, we need to figure out some sort of fuel supply then. So yeah, I don't know who would do that to a car, especially a rare car. Take the door handles off? Seriously? I don't have any Rambler ones, but I've got some Ford Falcon ones, and you know what? That's going to be good enough. It's got a Ford rear end in it anyway. Might as well have Ford door handles. Came off a '67 Falcon. So I got the door gutted. I have to find out where to drill the holes and everything. I wanted to get the glass out. That turned into a hanging on the cross nightmare. Also stiff. Hasn't been greased for 40 years. Maybe 50 years. Maybe since it was built. It's all stiff. All these little wheels. That one still moves. That one doesn't. They all need to be loosened up. So then here's the rigging, which you crank. And it's supposed to have a little wheel here. That one doesn't spin anymore. Needs to be all softened up. There's a little wheel under here. And there's supposed to be one here. But as you can see, it's not in very good shape. So I drilled the back off of it. Got that out of there. I went to price out those little wheels. $9 a piece. $9 a piece. I thought, what else is kind of like that? Well, these things for screwing onto the bottom of your old kitchen chair there. Right? It's got a nylon little thingy there. And it's kind of just about the same size. So I threw the calipers on there, and sure enough, it's pretty close. So I stuck it in the lathe, turned it down a little bit, got that silver cap off, had to, maybe we'll go through the whole process here and show. I had to get that cap off, and then turn it down a little bit, and then round the nut, or the head of the bolt off, so it spins. It spins freely now. So now I just, it wouldn't fit through, so I threaded that hole, put some threads in there. Now this little guy, I'll just screw right in there, and I can grind the back off of it. And oh shit, I just dropped it. Okay, well, we'll set up some things here and take some more shots.
Blind and miss.
That's got to be the worst chuck ever made. They're not very good. You have to keep it cool too. You can see that little black line starting to show up in there. It means we're almost through the metal. Gotta keep it cold or that plastic will melt and you're back to square one again. I think we should be able to pop that off now. So now we should be able to just tap that off of there. There we go. Put a nut on there just to save the threads. And clamp them in the vise and mess them up. There we go. There's the metal off. Now I have to take it down. The original ones measured out at 0.711. And this thing here is 6.87 or so. .9. So we'll set the drill up in the vise. And we'll get that spinning. Put a piece of tape over that. This one's still good? I think so. There. Now I just have to take that shoulder down a little bit. What a tangle. And I'm going to need a new piece of tape on this. Oh, we're getting there. Now all we have to do is round the head of the bolt like that one. So I'll crank up the lathe here again. Let's see if that spins on there yet. Not quite. Almost. Yeah, that spins nice now. Alright. I want to clean that up just a little bit. Cut that off a little bit. Now with the welder turned down as far as it'll go, we'll try and just tack it. And be ready with the water belt right away. That side went alright. Let's try and get one on the other side too, just a tiny little sting. that's got her. That's just as flush as the other ones, and it still spins and it's on there good. And it should glide in the track just fine. Yeah. So there you go. You get 4 of those for, I think it was $6 instead of $9 a piece. Half an hour of fiddling with it and it's good enough. So there you go. So I figured the best thing to clean this rigging of all the dry grease is probably the super blue cleaning fluid that I've got. Yeah, I know it looks like gas with oil in it, because it is. It's left over from the skidoos. So try to soften some of this crap up. It's just 60-year-old grease in there is what's going on. So stiff you can't even move it. So we'll get some of this cleaned up a little bit here. This one too. So dirty. Okay, well this is boring. I'm bored already. We'll bring it back when it gets more exciting. So I got a hole punched in there. I found the old holes and I ground the back off, and then the Bondo blistered up where they had the hole. Because that's about where the old one should be, down about here. You can see inside that little thing there that it's supposed to push. But if I put these guys down here, it'll be like hanging down like silly, right? So I moved it up, right? So that's sitting nice and square like that. But then that little shaft doesn't. So I welded a little tongue to it, and now it reaches down far enough to grab that little thing in there and poke the lock. And I had to make up some little cushions for the open up. Just trace them out. There's the old original one, hard and brittle. So traced them out, made some new ones out of this rubber stuff. Yeah, so one step closer. There's the driver's side one. That's what we were playing with before. The other side. So now I got my measurements for this side, and when I get this door pulled apart like that one, I can get in here and chop a hole and get this guy sitting in there. I still have to weld that little tab to the little pokey there so that it reaches. Got my seat brackets built. That took a while. Took me like just about 2 days to figure out this one and how it sits. And then once I had that figured out, it only took me about maybe an hour to get that one done. It's lower on one side than the other, so I had to kind of, you know, budget. But they sit in there good now. The old rigging with a new little wheel on there. Yeah, so I'm gonna sand that down and throw a little bit of black on her, and I can put that door handle on and I can get into the car. It's gonna be so cool. Well, we got some shiny black paint back on there. All fixed. A little tab is welded on there. And these guys, very brittle. There was enough left of one to do a good tracing. Those little guys are alright. So, I think I showed that a little bit before. I had some of this stuff that was rubber on one side and fuzzy on the other. And when you cut it, it goes all fuzzy around the edges. But take a lighter and burn it, and it goes really nice. Cinches all those little bits off. So, yeah, that's just doing the fine bit of trimming now. Round up the edges, sort of hold it on there and see where we need to trim a little bit more. The edge is all nice and cornered. Yeah. There, we're actually recording this time. So there you go. That's black again with a door handle on it. And look at that. Oh, there goes a bunch of nuts and bolts. Look at that. You can just walk right up, push the button, and get in. Moo-hoo-hoo, ha-ha. Alright, we're going to start with the other side, I guess. This one turned out okay. I could do that all day. It's so nice to be able to open up the door finally. Look at that. Holy. So sweet. I've got a keyhole for that thing too. That's pretty nice. Alright, we'll get set up here and go for it. I gotta get all this nonsense off the inside here. Make it look like that guy. Yeah. See how the window is hanging down there? Down here. It's not down there. Look at it. That'll be because of those little rollers worn out. Alright, we'll get set up and go for it. So yeah, the spot welds from the track to the bracket are all broken. That's probably why it was hanging down. So now I gotta beat that poor old track, that poor old rubber off the glass, weld this back on. Good heavens. Alright, well, that's what I'm doing for the next while. Well, that's off. One good thing is that the wheels are in pretty good shape. Still nice and tight. I can see where it's supposed to be spot welded. That one's been gone for a long time. And these guys were barely holding. Australian Chevy. Alright, well, we'll get that poor old track off of there. It's kind of loose already. Now maybe I can pick that poor old rubber out of there. Look at that. Holy. So brittle and old. Ooh. Is that ever holding, crusty? Alright, we'll set that up and pry this all back together and figure out which way it went. Drill some holes in the top where it welds to. That should be enough. It's going to be better than the spot welds that were there. Alright, we'll get that cleaned up and set up for welding. Alright, back together here. Line up our lines. Clamp on it somewhere. Maybe we can go down on it here. Yeah, like that maybe. I'll still be able to see it. Can we see it in the camera? Well, sort of. Up there. Fire up the welder. Grab a glove. Knock it all flying. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Back to bed. That hole. And still flush. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's on there again. Alright, well, clean that up and set her back together. Alright, let's try it. Boy, I wish I had new ones of those. I wish I had new. And the little screw holes line up nice. Perfect. Yeah. Pilot hole. Alright, here we go. Almost. Yeah, there we go. There's a hole. Let's go figure out the other holes. Line that up. Clean it off a bit. I got my hole made for the key lock thing there. Wow, glare. Holy glare. Had to chisel out the little square notches and stuff for it. Another dog leg on the thing there. New rubbers. So I had to figure out, that's the lock there. It sits like so. And here's your lock thing right here. That's the lock position. You can't push it down. And when this flies out, then you can. You can use the handle. So that doesn't hook to anything except the key. The linkage fits up here, and that works it too. That kicks the little lever out. So yeah. So I had to make up this little doodad. I got a new key lock, and it's got that funny shaped little end on it. So I dropped the nut over it and saw where it goes, and then I took the said nut and I welded inside of it and then filed it out so it fits that nice. And then I welded a rod to it, and then I had to make that little cam to fit in there. And now it does. Fits right in there. Nice and tight. And now when that turns, it'll kick that out. So that's locked. And then when this turns, stupid hands in the way. How the heck do you hold this and do that at the same time? Anyway, that throws it out like that. And if you turn it back the other way, it kicks in like that. So it does work. Ford handles and GM locks. Yes, they will work together if you've got some patience. Okay, I got the key hole in there. Let me just... Sorry about that. Let's put you on by the hammer. Got that little keeper in there. And I just saw that it's actually bottoming right out, so it's in all the way. I don't know if we're going to see that on the camera. Alright. Well, I think I'll put the handle on. Where did I put it? Okay, after a couple of trial and error fits, I think we got her. Had to change that little dog leg, had to make it a little bit bigger. Had to move that lock. And the key locks it. Change hands there. Oh, and then you have to open it and then give it an unlock here, like so. get your key out. Hey, that's a hassle. That's locked. And you can open it, get your key out. Gotta grease that up, I guess. And then, there. Yeah, so it works. Look at door handles. Wow. Alright, well, I'm going to spray the inside of this door with the black crap, like I did on that one. And then tomorrow I'll put the window back together. I was going to stick the back seat in. I got the seat belts back in, all washed up and clean. Got that speaker deck thing there. That's hammered back down. And I was going to put the seat in and remembered I had to do this window. And boy, do I ever have to. They're so crusty. Just ick. I got the one on the track on wheels on the window cleaned up already. All the wheels are there and they spin free now. They were sure gucked up. Just like this. So I'll have to go over to the parts washing bin here. Parts washer. And I'll get that cleaned up. Well, I'm going to do it with the camera going and get it all over the camera. It just splashes everywhere. Door handle. Oh, yeah, that cleaned up pretty good. And the old rigging here. Wheels are nice and clean again. Springs clean. Now I just gotta pump it full of grease and wheel her around a few times. Same with this. Pack this all full of grease. That one. I still have to clean that track in the back too for that corner thing. Alright, better do that. Well, I got a good coat of that black stuff on there last night. It's set up pretty good. There was a big rub spot right there. Hit it. You can see it's still a little bit shinier, but it dried up pretty good too. So I gotta touch up the floor with that stuff. And then I realized I got no glove box. I got the lid there. Took that off. But the cardboard inner piece is gone. You can get them, but they look kind of phony. So I made up a pattern out of cereal boxes and stuff. Had it all taped together and fit it all in there and figured out the dips and wiggles. And then I made one out of thicker cardboard. Hope it fits. It'll fit. I still need a couple more staples. I stapled the corners together and sprayed it with that same black undercoat stuff. So I'll do a couple more staples on that and coat it one more time and see how she goes. I got the door card back on and got it figured out. Putting a little ashtray back together there, and it was all loose and shaky. And I took that little screw out in the back and straightened the face out. Straightened it all out, actually. It was kind of bent. And I put a gob of goo in there and put the screw back in. And I started thinking, you know, new cars don't even have an ashtray, and if they did, it would be plastic. The last ones they made were all plastic. This thing is 100% steel. The handle, the face, the box, the spring, the screw. There's no... You could burn that and it'd still be fine. The paint would be gone. Spring might lose its temper, but it'd be fine. Yeah. They don't make them like that anymore. I picked it up and I went to put it in and something went clank. Here it was one of these little cross doodads here. And falling out, it was all loose. And I see they're supposed to have some sort of a little clip on there. Like that. See if maybe there. Oh, the stupid string is hanging there now. Jeez. Right in there. So, I just got some wire and make feeks. Igor make feeks. Well, let's see if we can cram it in there now. Are we sort of looking in the right direction? Oh yeah, look at that. Rip the shirt. How cliche. Suppose you'll have me walk the plank next or something. Don't wanna? How come? It's gotta go in higher. To fit the little pokies in there, like that. They just slid right in. And there's the screw. And there's the other one. Huh. Well, I'll put those nuts in. Here we go. Well, it took a couple tries to get it in, but once it's in, it's pretty good. First time, you could see down in here the white metal where neither of the black covered it, so I had to pull it all back out. And I stapled some of the speaker vinyl there down a little bit better, and then I put black tape across the back of the metal there, and now it's just blacked out and you don't see it. So yeah. Well, now the bottom, we'll fish those seat belts out, lay them over the top. Then move that roll of tape. Oh yeah, I was going to tape that wire down. That's right. Oh, better do that. Clean it up and tape that down. I managed to wrestle that monster back in there. So that's good. The seat belts fit up nice. Yeah. I'm going to have to do something with the rest of it. took the nitrous tank holding brackets out. They were over there on the side. I think I might weld those holes up. Or just put some bolts and washers. Maybe that's what I'll do. That'll close it up too. I'll clean this up a little bit. Door handles. So I was getting everything cleaned up in there and scratched down. And got that cleaned up pretty good. You can sure see the holes in there now. It's not bad though, just one little area there, less than a square foot. So I mean, some guys are changing whole floor pans in cars this old. There's a little bit of something going on there, but we'll get that cleaned up too. This is the worst bit, so I'm going to chop that out and get some new metal in there. The other side is just about the same. Oh, you can see it from here. Maybe we can zoom in. Yeah, both of them were kind of pushed up as if they were stump jumping or something. But hammered that one back down. It's pretty flat now, so I'll be able to make up another panel for that. And there you have it there. After some bit of noise and some sparks, set up a little spark shield there. Old jacket and a leather apron. Stop it from getting on my nice back seat. So, yeah. Swiss cheese. That's the underside of it. So I'll have to make up a couple little pieces now that are just like that. Put them together. Clean that up around the edges and fry a new piece back in. Yeah, after a bunch of beating and pounding and whacking, I've got the two pieces made. So I'm going to wait until tomorrow to weld them in there. A lot better than that crusty mess. That was the worst part of the whole car, so I'm really not too worried about that. There's before and after. Lost a little bit of that little indent right there. I just did it small, but it ends it out good enough. Yeah, so we'll get that welded in tomorrow and I'll tackle the other side. Well, back at her. Got the first piece welded in there. Went pretty good. Now I gotta set that one in there and zap it up. Gonna have to move my ground clamp, I guess. I got this piece welded back in. Spot checked it with the light. Got every last little pinhole buttoned up. And then I started looking over here at how this old sealer is kind of letting go. So I thought I might get that out of there and see if anything else is going on. I noticed a bit of a rust hole right in there. So maybe this is another big nightmare waiting to happen here. Only one way to tell. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. There we go. It looks like this is good down to here, and it's just this little bit right there. Get all this. Yeah, that's just a little half moon shaped piece, I think. Nasty old seam sealer. This is good here. This is all fine. It's just that one little bit right there. Alright, well, there we go. Oh, there, I got that little chunk in the corner welded in, and that whole piece there. Wire brushed a little bit. Now I can throw the seam sealer in the cracks and stuff and seal her up. Well, I got that all hosed down with the rust killer stuff, inside and out. Looks like maybe I'll shoot that little bit there too. Still got it. Alright, well, got this side marked off. Good God, everything goes fine. Side marked off, and we'll get that side chopped out too. Now we've got a couple pieces made. We'll start to get tacking them in there and close the hole. Now I kind of got carried away with the whole situation, and there, it's all welded in now. And yeah, got some metal moved and replaced, and that other side is drying up pretty nice. Now I'm going to see what's going on with that spot down there. Well, there was a tiny wee little bit of rust down in the bottom of the worst ones, but like nothing really, just some staining. So I just soaked her down with the rust kill stuff, and that's going where the water went, so that'll slow it down at least anyway. I mean, the thing's made it 55 years now, so if it makes it another 20, I'll be just fine with that. Got the little speed nut clips in for the glove box liner. I don't think I'm going to put it in quite yet, though. What? I'm missing one of those. One of those little plugs. Like that. So, I pulled one out. And I wonder if, like, can you even get those anymore? I don't know. What have I got this close to it? Well, not much. But it doesn't have to do very much either. So I'm thinking maybe a spray can lid. Cut the pieces out of it maybe. It'll fit in there. A little bit of goo on it. I didn't know Don Cherry's selling this stuff. Huh. Well, after about 2.5 hours of quite a bit of cursing and swearing, and I got the trunk lock in. I had to change everything. I had to file out all the holes here for that tumbler to fit in. And the little rod that runs down, I had to change it, because of course the end of it was vertical and the Chev tumbler is horizontal. So I had to change that. Luckily enough it was long enough, but the angle was wrong, so I had to change that. And yeah, fiddle with it. I had to file the little clips on the back of the lock there. I had to file them at an angle because that's the way it kind of sits in there. It's kind of weird and crooked, but that's pretty nice. No screwdriver required. Yeah. I don't know how well we'll be able to see that. You remember that plug I was missing inside for the hole in the floor? That's it. It got broken and pushed through. That's why it was missing. It's down. Look at that. I'm going to have to try and push that back and get it out the other side. Yeah, sure enough, there it is. I pushed it back. Now if I can just get a hold of it, like so, and maybe pull it up. There we go. Huh. Well, isn't that something? Now I can take that spray can lid out of there and I got all stock ones. Huh. Well, that's pretty good. And I got most of the stuff buttered up here. Still got a little bit more. I sprayed some rust killer in that little area there, so I'll wait for that to set up before I guck it up too much. And a little bit up in there, and yeah. Pretty solid. Sure would like to rip that suspension out of there and just put a straight axle. Open up the headers and everything. Straight axle with leaves would be awesome. Oh, dust. There was a little blister in the paint right there. Oops. They had this all cake full of Bondo, and there's no need for it. There's the original metal right there. There's the body, so you fix the rust properly and then there's no Bondo needed. Like, jeez. So that's next. Got the trunk buttered up in spots there where it was gnarly. I'll throw some black on there later. That's filled all the holes with pennies. What are you gonna do? I mean, it's cheaper than welding them up, and just as watertight, if not better. So, yeah. Oh, suppose I'm in here. Wow. Alright, back to fixing that. That opened it up quite a bit. It's all pretty solid from there on. Just hosing the shit out of this there. Letting it pool right up. That way it'll siphon down in the sides here and neutralize anything that might be going on down there. I think I got 2 more cans of this. This one's just about done, so give all that bare metal a shot. I'll have to grind around the edges when I weld anyway. But I got as much of that old black sealer out of the edge as I could, so it doesn't contaminate the weld too bad. Any more in there? A little bit. PU. Yeah, the back is in really, really good shape. Finger doesn't catch anything. So, it looks like a couple little blisters down here too. Not going to worry about them too much. I think they put patches down in the bottom there. Wow, where am I I think that was patched, looked like. So, yeah. I'll let that dry overnight and tackle some patches tomorrow. What a mess for one little blister. Well, I got a coat on the stuff that didn't have anything that was white or bare metal still. I got underneath good. I think I might leave the trunk until tomorrow, let that set up good, and then I'll hit the spots and put that plug in there. I got a piece of tape over it. Get some over all my little pennies there. They make good washers too. Drill a hole in them, and they only cost a penny, so you can't go wrong. Got a good coat on all of that too. I made a paper pattern of the hole that was there, and transferred it to metal, and then slipped a little piece in, made it a little bit bigger, Slipped it in there. And I got it all tacked in. And clean it up a little bit more. Put some JB weld over it. And there's the first layer of JB weld. Packed it in there pretty good, so nothing but glare. Oh, look at that. Finished up. Gave it one more coat of JB weld, and after that was sanded out, there was just a few little nips and wiggles. I mixed up probably, well, less than a tablespoon of Bondo. Got it on there. And I mean, all that sanded off, so there's not very much Bondo. And there was just a couple little divots, so I got some primer putty in there, and after that's all dry, we'll sand her out and see how it looks. Better than it did, that's for sure. Battery light's going off. Took these guys off and cleaned them up. I don't know if I should have. No. I think I might just spray them black again for now. Or just leave them off. Yeah, it's supposed to have chrome strips along here joining the two together, right? But they were all peeling, so I guess if I clean that grill off, that would look better too. Maybe. I think the inside actually is the very here is supposed to be black, and then just the outside is chrome. I know it. We'll see. So I pulled the headliner out. Had to. It was hanging down so far that it was falled out the edges. So I threw it up on the back of the car, soaked it until all the weird bends would sort of come out of it. And I'm just laying it here in the sun with weight on it until it dries. It looks like one of my little clamps blew apart there. Didn't like that. Oh well, tough beans. The rest of them are still on there. Yeah, I don't know. It couldn't be much worse. Put it that way. Once it's dry, I can glue up the edges there with some fiberglass resin maybe, and glue these joints together. Look at how they did it. Relief cuts, and then they just press that little toothy piece of metal in there. So we'll see. I guess when it dries out, it was sticking up right out of there, so I had to do something. And these are the trims that come off of it. Oh, wrong way. This is the front one. It's not too bad, but the back one is sure gone to hell. So clean them up with some SOS's and see what happens, I guess. Well, the front one came out pretty nice. Just with some steel wool, it cleaned up pretty good. I didn't have much hope for this back one. That's really bad. But after I got going on it for a while, there's some pretty big pits and stuff, but it's looking, I think, a little bit of polish and a lot of that'll come out, so it looks a heck of a lot better than that. What a mess. So the old headliner's still sitting in the sun. Hope it dries. Some sort of shape that's close to what it's supposed to be. Well, with a little bit of polish, that one turned up pretty good. Not ashamed of that at all. And this one, you still see a few little pits, but it's nothing like the orange crusty mess that it was. It's shiny again, so that's good. Yeah. The chrome strip that goes across the top of the door card there, door panel, was all stretched, and they're coming off on both ends and hanging and looking ugly, and you couldn't press them back on. It's because when they redid it, they put foam right out to the edge, and those little things were never meant to be that fat, so I just trimmed the foam back ½ an inch, like so, and they hammer on there. I straighten them out, and they hammer on there nice and tight, because now they got just the vinyl and the cardboard.